All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, it's not going to be a pretty show today. In no way will it warm your heart like a nice hot bowl of like oatmeal with berries in it or something like that. It's not going to do any of that. Not going to be like a warm cup of coffee on a Sunday morning. It's not going to be like a campfire on a cold night. That's not this show today. The evil's not coming. The evil's here. I don't know how many more warnings, how many more red lines need to be crossed. I don't know what else you could possibly need to hear after last night's primary elections in New York City, which is, by the way, probably the most up there with LA, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. A lot of people live there and a lot of economic activity goes on there. You can't just ignore what happened last night with the communist takeover in New York City and pretend the evil isn't here. And I'm not suggesting you and the Bongino army are doing that. But there are others trying to sneak their way underneath the tent into our MAGA movement to destroy it from the inside, who are not only accommodating this, but facilitating it. You've seen it. They have now renounced the Republican Party and are all in on the divisive communist America haters. Listen, please. Please, I'm not figuratively begging. It's a literal begging you, please. Every generation has its fight. Every generation has dealt with this. There are a lot of human beings who have the capacity to do very stupid, very evil things. And good men and women like you out there in the audience have to wear the armor of God and go out there and fight this stuff. I know we just want to live our lives. I know you just want to like hit a movie or a soccer game with your kids on the weekend, but this fight's at your doorstep. This is not melodrama. It's not hyperbole for effect. I don't need it. I don't have any time for it. This country is under attack. Every generation has its fight. There are Paul Revere's and Paulette Revere's running through the street, maybe not on horseback, right now, sounding the alarm. What happened in New York City last night? Again, the evil's not coming. The evil is here. We've got receipts incoming, evidence incoming, that if it doesn't frighten you, it's because you want the country to fail and you want the destruction that's going to follow. That's the only excuse. That's the only excuse. We got a big show today. I got a lot to talk about. And once you're done, again, with this series of fact-based, in their own words, data and receipts, if you're accommodating this, ladies and gentlemen, you are an enemy of this country. You are a traitor to this country. When people are openly talking about the freaking collapse of Western civilization and bringing violence here, openly talking about it, and you're accommodating it, you are a traitor. And I use that word carefully and deliberately. You are a traitor. All right. Heavy opening. But I woke up this morning. I wasn't feeling great yesterday. I'm fine. It's not a big deal, but I went to sleep. I woke up this morning and the worst possible thing could have happened. Folks, get all your prescriptions shipped to your door with the pharmacy I use, All Family Pharmacy. Save 10% at allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino10. Code Bongino10, prescription provided if appropriate. Thanks, All Family Pharmacy. Today's show also brought to you by Joy and Blokes, one of my favorite new sponsors. You know, I'm a big health hacker, but ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to hack your health. You don't know anything about your health. What's the best way to get information about your health? Sign up with Joy and Blokes and you'll see. Most people don't wake up and choose to feel exhausted or foggy. It builds over time, and then you're like, well, what just happened? You're doing everything right. Your energy crashes by midday. Your focus feels off, and your body's just not responding the way it used to. Well, you're never going to know what's happening if you don't get the information. For many, these aren't discipline issues. They're signals. Signals that hormones, metabolism, or nutrient levels may be out of balance. You may not even know about it. Joy and Blokes, it's J-O-I, Joy and Blokes, was created for people who are tired of guessing and being dismissed. I'm super health focused. You know that. I realized I hadn't done fully comprehensive labs, though, in a while. I had skipped some stuff. Joy and Blokes came on board and said, we'd like to sponsor the show. I said, well, come on in. Let's do some blood work and let's see where it goes. I learned a ton. A lot of good stuff, a couple things I needed to be concerned about. Joy and Blokes came to the office here, drew blood. Within a week, I had insights across 71 biomarkers, and I did my consultation with a licensed clinician. She was fantastic, helped turn the data into personalized plan. I added some methylated B vitamins, other things after that. It's time to stop guessing and start getting real answers about your health. Don't go in the dark anymore. Go to joyandblokes.com/Bongino, J-O-I, and use code Bongino for 65% off your labs and 20% off all supplements. It's a huge savings. That's joyandblokes.com/Bongino, Joyandblokes, joyandblokes.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 65% off your labs, 20% off all supplements. Great service. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Not available in all states. Prescription required. Visit joyandblokes.com for terms and restrictions. All right, fellas, let's go. As I said, folks, the evil is here. Had to Bill Malugin on X last night. I'm still calling it Twitter, but this is what happened in New York. You can't just gaff this off anymore. Oh, it's just this place or it's just that place. I was having a conversation with Justin this morning about some of these crazies. He's like, well, maybe it's in blue cities. No, we have people in Florida subscribing to this stuff. Breaking. Last night, Representative Espaillat concedes Mamdani-backed socialists have gone 3 for 3, won all their primaries. Daria Lisa Chevalier, she won last night. What does she want, folks? Here's your Democrat Party served up to you on a silver platter, decaying silver platter. Wants to abolish prisons, abolish ICE, abolish borders, defund the police. All deportations are wrong, including for violent criminals. She's called the U.S. an effing disgrace and said in a post that she forgot to get napkins, so I wiped my hand on the American flag behind me. She hates your country. She hates your country. Again, she hates your country and has said it. Here's another one. Claire Valdez won last night. Wants to grant citizenship and voting rights to illegal aliens, use taxpayer funds for all transgender treatments, and eliminate private health insurance. That's great. You want to call the government to crack open your freaking chest in the middle of a heart attack. Claire Valdez is your gal. Oh, it gets worse. Brad Lander beat Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman, you mean the radical far leftist who wanted to weaponize the government and put Trump in jail? Yes, that guy. Cannibalism theory in full effect. Apparently crazy like Dan Goldman isn't crazy enough. You have to be crazier. Brad Lander wants to abolish ICE, forgive all student loans, $2 trillion, and expand the Supreme Court, i.e. Packet. Mamdani got a clean sweep. Folks, every generation has a fight. Put on the armor of God. The fight's here for you right now. It's knocking at your door. It's not coming. It's not making an appointment next week. It's right here. Downplay the importance of this at your own peril. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we're in the late 1930s, 40s again. And I will never, ever forget spending a significant amount of time in the Middle East. By the way, it's fascinating listening to a bunch of people comment on the Middle East. I'm not telling you have to visit there to comment on it. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying if you're going to make your entire life about Middle East policy, Jews, Persians, Arabs, and other Sunni Shia politics, the war on terror, what's going to happen with petrochemicals, maybe at some point go visit. Maybe. I'm not telling you have to. You can certainly have an opinion doing homework on it, but maybe go and visit. I've spent a lot of time there, and I will never forget being told over and over again by people very familiar with the situation in the region that the people coming after you, the Islamo-fanatics, first they get the Saturday people, and then they get the Sunday people. Anyone telling you right now that this war on the Jews that's going on is about specifically and only the Jews is full of shit. It is not only about the Jews. The Jews are a convenient target for many people because they know they can find Jew hatred everywhere. The real war is against Western civilization. And I take that back, civilization in general. You, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe me, believe the receipts. You think I'm kidding? You think this fight, Daria Lisa Chevalier, Mamdani, and the anti-Semites out there, you really believe this is about the Jews only? Listen to their own words. Put up that tweet about Western civilization. Daria Lisa Chevalier, who won a primary for the United States House of Representatives last night and will likely be a congresswoman with a massive amount of power, was the co-founder of a group, the Columbia University Apartheid Divestment Group, CUAD. What's the organization's stated goal? Oh, look at that. Fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization. What the fuck is going on? You have a woman who is going to be swearing in. It's a Democrat district. That race is largely over. Who has committed to the eradication of Western civilization. Notice she doesn't only say Israel or the Jews. Notice she doesn't say that. But tell me again, to the fake, phony, astroturf right-wingers sneaking their stupid, dumb, gullible, moronic, imbecilic asses in our tent, telling us, oh, this is about the Jews. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even Jewish. I'm Catholic. And I'm telling you, first they come for the Saturday people, and then they come for you. Are you stupid? They're telling you. Look at the fucking link. Look at their own thing. I'm not sorry. Sorry, maybe the language isn't for you, so you guys can bail out. This isn't that type of show. If the language bothers you, then I understand. Read their own words. The total eradication of Western civilization. She doesn't look Western civilization except for America and the other place. I just mean Israel. That's not what that says. Guy says it right. Yes, it's very hard to understand. She's kind of being ambiguous about it. It's right there. It's right fucking there. Just read it. We are Westerners fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization. And you get these dumb fuckers on there. Yeah, about the Jews. Really? I promise, dipshits, they're coming for you next. No, but I did a video once telling you how much I hated the Jews too. Good luck as they're knifing your dumbass and beheading you on camera, you stupid fucks. You think I spent 10 plus years traveling the world, reading threat assessments about the President of the United States and the intel arena, and in a year at the FBI reading shit not everyone listening to this podcast got to see, to come out here and lie to you about it? You know what my dog in the fight is? America first. This is a real America first move. I'm trying to save America, like many of you, from these people trying to burn down Western civilization who are riding the coattails of a bunch of dumbass, phony, astroturf MAGA assholes who want this country to burn to the ground. And a bunch of dumb fuckers are falling for it. It's their own words. Well, Dan, they haven't really said they want to use violence. Oh, really? Daria Lisa Chevalier, who is going to be swearing in under a year in the United States House of Representatives with a massive amount of power, she'll probably be given a chairman's spot if they take over the House, the Democrats. They have her group. They haven't talked about violence. Put up that tweet. Daria Lisa Chevalier is a founder of CUAD. Just noted that. The organization's stated intentions are to, quote, undermine and eradicate America through the use of, quote, violence in America. Funny, she's running for New York Democrat nominee 13, the unlucky 13. Weird, right? Put up the thing in that tweet. You think we're making this up? We act in full support of the Palestinian resistance. This action is first and foremost an effort to extend the successes of the Palestinian resistance, i.e. terrorism, to the heart of the empire itself. By the way, that's us, for the dipshits on the right who think they're not coming for you to cut your balls and head off next. To translate their resilience in Gaza to unrest and, quote, violence in America, dumb fuckers. Note to dumb fuckers, read what they say, you stupid bastards. The evil's not coming, it's here. They're telling you we want to kill you. We want to eradicate Western civilization and bring the Gaza violence to America. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you stupid? No, I did a video once telling you how much I hate the Jews too, because I'm weak and stupid. Good, they'll cut your crank off and shove it down your throat. Not even last, maybe second to last. Folks, there was a state Senate race in New York yesterday. State Senate. Where you should be focused on like New York issues, you know? Apple orchards up north, whatever it may be. The subway system, the MTA. I don't know. New York Yankees tax credit, whatever the hell you focus on in New York. So Abercrombie won yesterday, her state Senate race. They were really proud of this. This is the takeover. New York is totally taking over. Aber wins. Now, they don't say, we're going to get the price of the subway. We're going to clean up the subway. We're going to fix Metro North. We're going to fix up New York State Police and the NYPD. That's not what happens. The New York Democrat Socialists of America, who want this place to burn to the ground, here's what they celebrate. Aber wins, all caps. Palestine was on the ballot. Fucking Palestine. Fucking Palestine was on the ballot. This is a state Senate, not a U.S. Senate seat. And now a Palestinian American Democratic Socialist is going to Albany. Abercrombie is exactly who New Yorkers need, fighting for them in the state Senate, because socialists get it done. In fucking Palestine, which isn't even a thing. You want to hear Abercrombie? Play this video. Listen to her talk about, just in her own words. Don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen. They bring their own receipts. Just stupid asses keep falling for it. Here's Abercrombie, state Senate. Palestine was on the ballot. Then go run in Palestine. You can't run in Palestine because they'll make you, cover up your face and they'll kill you if you take it off. Check this out.
The system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory. And we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, like, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right, a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for like a terror attack that like a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find like reprehensible.
We have a 9/11 apologist in the New York State Senate. Justin, where did 9/11, the attack on the Trade Center, happen? New York. Yeah, New York. New York. She's talking about the American colonies in the Middle East. Really? Where are they? Where exactly are those colonies? Because last time I checked, whatever you're talking about with the Palestine that doesn't exist, the Israelis turned over Gaza back to the Palestinians, who then used it to launch rockets back into Israel after they turned it over in 2005. Folks, there's a tweet that went viral this morning. I don't know this guy. I saw this tweet this morning, and I don't believe the U.S. is finished. I believe that maybe it hasn't gotten bad enough yet. I am never going to be a doomer when it comes to the United States. Folks, I lived through 9/11 as a federal agent just outside of New York City when it happened. I was a police officer in the 75th precinct in New York, not during 9/11. I was a federal agent when 9/11 happened. But I only bring that up because the NYPD has SWAT teams, but they're called ESU, the Emergency Services Unit. And they're where they turn out of are called trucks. So ESU Truck 7 turned out of the 75th precinct when I was a police officer in the late 90s. I bring that up because many of those ESU members of Truck 7 died on 9/11. And I used to think to myself often after 9/11, when I would go out into the parking lot in the back of the 75th precinct on Sutter Avenue, and you'd get in the RMP, the police car, to take your tour of duty, we would run into the Truck 7 guys. Sometimes they'd be barbecuing in the back. They were always the badasses, the SWAT guys. Everybody admired those guys. They say when people need help, they call the cops. When the cops need help, they call ESU. I always admired those guys. That's cool. I want to do that. And I think to myself now, I probably stared in the face a couple of those guys who were only a year away from being burned alive or crushed as the towers came down. I don't really need any lectures from this fuckstick in the New York State Senate, soon to be. You can take that shit and shove it right up your ass. You understand? Shove it up your ass. 9/11 apologist. Because of the American colonies that don't exist. Shove it up your ass. You see it? Pull it up in a ball. Here's the tweet I was talking about. I don't agree the U.S. is finished, folks. We're never going to be finished. You know why? This country was touched by the hand of God. No, touched by the hand of God. God has blessed this place. There is no reason by the laws of probability, I can't say this enough, the United States should even be a thing still. We should have never survived on basic spreadsheet probability. A war with the British, another war with the British in 1812, the Civil War, World War I, World War II. We should have never survived that. Go look back at the 1860s. Look back at the first two terms of our first president, George Washington, where no one even knew the contours of the presidency. What are we supposed to do? Washington walks away from power. He could have been the king. And idiot liberals will be like, well, he was term limited. No, dipshit. He wasn't term limited. That didn't happen till far later. Washington walked away to set an example. This country was founded by incredible men. It made a lot of mistakes, but they gave you this glorious place, man, the land of fruit and honey, paved in figurative gold, man. Anybody here could be anything. And you got these people, these usurpers, want to destroy Western civilization through violence. It's their own words. Put that tweet up. You should read it. This is probably close to 1 million views already. Offer bin Stock says, as an expert on Islam, I state the U.S. is finished. It has no idea. I don't agree with that part. However, this part I do. It has no idea at all that this is coming for it, and it has zero tools to defend itself. On the contrary, the tools it does have will be turned against it to destroy the U.S. Islam will wipe it out. It will be brutal and far worse than anything happening in Western Europe. The haters of Israel and the Jews in America will pay a heavy price for the elections and the side they chose. So will their children and grandchildren with compound interest collected by members of the Islamic Ummah. They will tear down the democratic system and the Constitution by using the tools of democracy and the Constitution itself while shaking the foundations of American existence in ways that have not happened since independence. It'll be devastating. The U.S. will slide into a civil war that'll make the wars in Syria and Iraq look like child's play. This is not a maybe. It'll happen for sure. Folks, you got a side of this country that is not small and insignificant anymore. The Rashida Tlaibs, the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens, people slipping the camel's nose under the fake tent or the real tent with the fake personalities trying to get on our side, who are using these stupid, age-old anti-Semitic tropes to get you to not just hate Jews, but hate Western civilization. And destruction of it through violence comes next. Listen to their own words. Folks, we're in a lot of trouble, man. I mean, imagine primarying Dan Goldman, one of the craziest members, Democrat members of Congress, one of the captains of the weaponization movement against Donald Trump, basically because he's Jewish and he's a liberal, crazy communist himself, primarying him because he's not crazy enough. I'll show you what happened to him, by the way. In case, and this, I got this video coming up next. We'll take a quick break, but this is for not just the Bongino Army. You're good. You guys are already dressed in the armor of God. You're ready for this fight, and I am so honored. It is a privilege to be here with you every day at 10 a.m. This is for the fake AstroTurf MAGA people and the Jew haters who think they're protected from this by telling their soon-to-be communist, socialist conquerors and torturers, but I said I hate the Jews too. They're coming for you next. Ask Dan Goldman. Ask Dan Goldman, who made the simple mistake, air quotes, mistake, so you don't misinterpret what I'm saying. Simple mistake of not saying, I hate the Jews too. Cannibalism theory. I've told you about it for a long time. The left will increasingly expand its power, and when they can't pick on people on the right anymore because we flip them the double barrel, they will turn on their own and eat them alive too. They're obstacles. Stay tuned. I'll show you what I mean. Quick break. It's probably a good time. In today's uncertain economy, American financing is helping American families find a way out of the high-interest debt trap. We're heading into summer, but some of the economic clowns are in clearing for middle-class Americans. Between persistent inflation and the cost of daily life, you're likely feeling the pressure. Well, there's a way out. And American Financing can help you out. They've been with me a long time. It's a great company. Check them out. You worked hard for your home. You probably have more equity than you think. Yet the summer surge is forcing many Americans to rely on credit cards. It's a really exhausting cycle. American Financing understands it, and they know that you need a real strategy coming up in 2026. They're here for you. That's why they have salary-based mortgage consultants. With mortgage rates in the fives, their customers are saving an average of $800 a month by wiping out high-interest debt. That's money that stays in your pocket, stays in your wallet to fight back against rising costs. There's no upfront fees. There's no pressure, so don't worry about that. If you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments for additional savings. Call American Financing today. Here's the number, 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660. You can visit them online as well. It's a .net address, americanfinancing.net/Bongino. Thank you, American Financing. Check them out. Today's show also brought to you by buddies, man. I need that. I had a rough night last night. Long story. I'll bore you with another time. Too important to talk about. Blackout Coffee. We love Blackout Coffee. They love this country. There's a 1776 dark roast. Absolutely fantastic. Bold taste. Never bitter. I enjoy 2 or 3 cups of coffee of it a day. If you're still starting your day with watered down, big corporate brown water coffee, get rid of it. Blackout Coffee is the difference maker. Delicious coffee. It's a small American company that actually shares your values. They roast some of the best coffee I've ever had. You know, I'm a coffee person, but check this out. Don't just buy a bag, join the coffee club. It's what I do. Your coffee shows up automatically. No worries. You save money. You get free shipping, and you never get stuck drinking bad coffee again. Plus, you start stacking rewards. They'll hook you up with some bonus credits after a few deliveries. And right now, they've got some really cool limited releases for the 250th anniversary of the United States. You don't want to miss those. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Coffee's delicious. It's a great company. It's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Join the coffee club today. Once you start, you're not going back. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. I appreciate it. I have warned you forever. P1s, how many times have we discussed cannibalism theory on the show? 100, 200, maybe 500? The left wants to destroy this country, and any obstacle in their way to doing it will be disposed of. They're fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization, unrest, and violence in America. It's their own freaking words, bro. It's their own words. Even if you are not just a Democrat, but a crazy Democrat. Dan Goldman was one of the weaponization guys, just an absolute lunatic in Congress. He lost his primary last night by, 20, 30 points? What? To Brad Lander, an even crazier lunatic. And not only that, while Dan Goldman, by the way, this didn't happen in Gaza. This happened in New York City. The guy, Dan Goldman, and you know what, Dan Goldman, you shouldn't have facilitated. You didn't deserve this at all. But you should have seen the writing on the wall forever. You're an obstacle to them because you don't tell them how much you hate the Jews and Western civilization. Goes in to get a cup of coffee at, Poetic Justice or whatever. And look at what happens to Dan Goldman. Here's a Fox News report. Check this out.
Congressman Dan Goldman, who was recently banned from a Brooklyn coffee shop over his pro-Israel views. Poetica Coffee posted this now deleted photo of Goldman with the caption, "Hey, Dan Goldman, we see that you stopped by our coffee shop today for a coffee. Do you see how it doesn't taste like genocide juice? Or are you still having a hard time telling the difference?" That same coffee shop boasts online about its policy of, quote, radical hospitality. Its website claims the store is open to everyone. Obviously, everyone does not include supporters of Israel. The Justice Department is now investigating.
Radical hospitality. Dan Goldman is a radical leftist. Dan Goldman. And he lost. And he can't even get coffee in his own district without some lunatic posting his picture on Instagram talking about how he doesn't basically hate the Jews enough. Folks, please, God, I'm not using your name in vain. Bless this audience with discernment on I know you've got it, many of you. But please understand what's coming for you next. First, they get the Saturday people, then they get the Sunday people. Folks, do you really believe if the left comes after a radical leftist who almost single-handedly pushed the Trump impeachment narrative and weaponized the entire United States Congress? He was a lawyer trying to get rid of Trump before that. If he's not safe, you think you're safe because you filmed some video on your supposed MAGA channel telling people how you hate the Jews? You dumb fuck. You're next. You are absolutely next. No one is coming to save you on your side. Your only refuge are the sane people on our side. You got the Wajahat Ali. I know we're out of order, but you got a guy running in Michigan, running with another 9/11 apologist. This Hassan Piker saying that the rapes on October 7th wouldn't change his mind about anything. I thought this was like the Me Too crowd. Folks, there's no Me Too anything. There's only Me Too eradicate Western civilization. That's the only Me Too they care about. Women, children's education, black voters, Hispanic voters, they don't care about any of it. They don't even care about Arab voters if you're in their way. If you're an Arab voter who comes out tomorrow and doesn't profess your hatred for Western civilization and the Jews, you're next too. The evil is here. Every generation has its fight. It's at your door. It's at right now. It's knocking. Hello? Hello? Answer the fucking door, man. Here's Wajahat Ali, another lunatic, with a Michigan U.S. Senate candidate who could win, Abdul El-Sayed, another freaking crazy lunatic cut from this DSA model. And they're talking about how legitimately questioning their pledge to eradicate Western civilization and others. It's definitely Islamophobia because, we don't question like Bernie Sanders. We don't question. Justin's like, Dan, I've been here 5 years. We probably have 100 episodes about how crazy Bernie Sanders is. It doesn't matter if it's the truth. It's trying to shut you up. This is Islamophobic to talk about. Islamophobic to be concerned about wiping out Western civilization through violence? That's Islamophobic. That's called deathophobic. Like, don't get dead. I'm scared of dying. You should be too. We're all going to die. I don't want to die soon. And I definitely don't want to die by some guy screaming Allahu Akbar, cutting my fucking head off. Play this cut. Oh, yeah, we never went after Bernie Sanders. That was definitely Islamophobia. I don't want to be decapitated, folks. And I don't want you to be decapitated either. You want to know a good way to get dead? Gee, you think a good way to get dead is to cut your head off? You're probably not going to survive that, right? No, I'm pretty sure there's not a procedure to reattach that. Check this out.
Hassan Piker, like you mentioned, has campaigned with and or interviewed and or cozied up to many Democrats. In that campaign stuff, there's also the great Summer Lee. Summer Lee wasn't focused on. Bernie Sanders wasn't focused on. AOC wasn't focused on. You were focused on. Your name is Abdullah Saeed. And to me, I'm like, this is a deliberate focus between focusing on Abdullah Saeed, who just happens to be an Arab Muslim man. Talk to us about the casual Islamophobia of it all, and especially when it's tolerated from the Democratic side.
Muwaj, I'll tell you this. I'm not here to defend myself, right? Like, obviously, you and I both know that people have a particular animus for some groups of people.
Folks, you understand this is just an effort to shut you up and to get you to take part in your own decapitation, literally and figuratively. The decapitation of Western civilization through violence, and the literal decapitation as a preferred death method by a lot of these lunatics who they ignore. We never went after AOC. Folks in the chat, how many times, plus or minus a couple thousand, you think we've mentioned the danger of AOC? Do you remember, hey, Guy, you remember, you've been here the longest. Do you remember when AOC first got elected? We had people in the chat. I know you remember this. And they were like, Dan, I'm not knocking anyone. They're like, you focus too much on AOC. We should just ignore it and it'll go away. Do you remember, Guy, do you remember that? Thank you. And Guy never lies about it. He's like George Washington. You never... They were like, it's a distraction. Leave it alone. She's going to go away. I said, guys, ladies, she is not going to go away. It is a festering cancer. You ignore it. It turns into a tumor that kills the host. It is parasitic. I wish I was wrong, but now you've seen it festering into Mamdani and Daria Lisa and Brad Lander and the most dangerous... This was just yesterday's show. Yeah, we were talking about this stuff, talking about Rokan and others. This is just an effort to shut you up. Islamophobia, you tell Wajahat Ali and Abdul El Sayed and others. Again, roll it up in a ball and shove it up your ass. I am not letting you, quote, eradicate Western civilization as the CUAD, Daria Lisa's group, and promote unrest and violence in America while we all sit back on our asses and pretend it's not happening. And just in case you're curious, because we always have, of course, the doomers who want me out of the way because they know I'm onto their routine. They desperately want us gone. We reoriented the entire counterterror division of the FBI back in the right direction. And anyone lying to you and telling you otherwise is full of shit. All of these groups that want eradicated Western civilization, one of them put up that CBS News tweet. 8 members of Antifa yesterday, for the first time ever, we worked this case when I was there, got 450 years in prison. Leader of group convicted in Antifa-inspired attack on ICE facility. He was handed a 100-year prison sentence. 350 more years were handed out to 7 others. And of course, who was pissed off about it? Probably the doomers and their buddy Rashida Tlaib, because they're the same people. Nothing is happening. Fuck you, motherfuckers. You're so stupid, you dumb shits. You don't think we know what's going on with you? Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She's talking about the Antifa sentences. The sentences are a travesty and totally unjustified. Did you read what happened in those attacks? But that's the point. Americans hate the fascist Trump regime, so the only way they can try to cling to power is brute force. NSPM 7, which was a national security directive from the president, is a grave threat to all of us, and more bullshit terrorism charges like these are coming. Bullshit terrorism charges. Do me a favor, go read what these Antifa folks did out there. in Texas. They were convicted in a court of law. Rashida Tlaib hates it. You see what the Doomers and the Black Pillars have in common with the Rashida Tlaib folks? They all want the destruction and decapitation of Western civilization, literally and figuratively, but your fucking head on the ground. I wonder how long you can see yourself when they decapitate you. Does your brain still work for a few seconds? I don't know. Can you look up and go, gosh, I have no head? The evil's not coming, man. The evil's here. You can put on the armor of God and fight, or you can get your own head lopped off and put in a box. They wouldn't even put it in a box. They put it on a pike. Folks, these people hate your guts, man. They're cheering for the Iranians. They want the Iranians to, they're proud that the Iranians. Someone asked me the other day, Dan, I know you support the president, but I have some questions. I go, oh, okay, here's a friend. He's like, well, what makes this deal President Trump's proposing through the MOU any different than the Obama deal? I go, everybody's fucking dead and the military's at the bottom of the sea. He was like, oh, shit, didn't really think of that. Am I wrong? Here's the difference. The people Obama negotiated with are fucking dead. They're dead. And the military they used to negotiate with Obama is sitting at the bottom of the sea. What are you going to tell me that didn't happen? That nothing's happening there too? Folks, these people hate you. They hate your guts. You are an obstacle to their destruction of Western civilization. And by the way, it only took a day, not even a day. Yesterday's show, I told you the Electoral College, which we use to elect presidents. I'm sorry for the basic civics lesson, but there are liberals listening who don't even know this. We do not pick presidents by popular vote, and we shouldn't. California would determine the president every single year through ballot harvesting and probably voter fraud too. We do not do that. So because we don't do that, that is an obstacle to them, the end of Western civilization people. Here's Kamala Harris yesterday, and Don Lemon Show, we played this clip. You remember this. And Kamala Harris is like, yeah, we should really look into getting rid of the Electoral College because they want two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. They want direct democracy so they can take away your rights, okay? The Electoral College is an obstacle against it, so they got to get rid of it. Now, the only way to get rid of the Electoral College, which when Americans who understand it understand why it's being done to protect minority rights in the country, that's just please go look. Please, I'm just begging you to do your own homework. Please don't listen to idiots on TV like this moron next, Jameel Hill, who, by the way, is like a sports commentator. She doesn't know shit about anything. I told you it was only going to be a matter of minutes before the left started saying the Electoral College was formed to protect slavery and is racist. I go back in the office, 10 feet away. I'm doing the show. Within maybe 30 minutes, this pops up on my X feed. Here's Jameel Hill. She could look this up, by the way. Do your own homework so you don't think I'm lying to you. Alexander Hamilton, Federalist, I'm pretty sure it's 68, where he describes exactly why we have the Electoral College. If anything, it was meant to give states rights, states that were anti-slavery, from being overtaken by population growth by slaveholding states who had a lot of slaves. Jameel Hill's an idiot. She doesn't know any of that, or doesn't, she's lying. She can look it up like I just told you to. It's an instant fact check. Just go to Grok and ask yourself. Here it is. Only took a day. Check this out.
It's better if you make the argument when you didn't lose the election. You know what I'm saying? Is that
from a position of strength.
On the position of strength. It's like, listen, anybody who studied any small bit of history knows the Electoral College is rooted in slavery. That was the entire reason that it was invented, essentially. And we should have gotten from up under it a long time ago. And not just because you have two women quite capable who lose the election. So I don't have a problem with her argument. I think it's probably correct. And I think most people in this country, you want to... A big reason there's a lot of apathy is because a lot of people feel like their vote doesn't matter. And the reason they feel that way is because they look at things like, okay, let me get this straight. We can all agree and all, from a popular vote standpoint, vote for a candidate and that candidate still lose. And that the math doesn't math for them. So it's like, why are we clinging to the system?
Only took a few minutes, folks. Just read Federalist 68 yourself. Just look it up. Liberal dipshits. It's called homework. They lay out clearly why we have an electoral college to protect the republic and minority rights. By minority, I mean minority parties as well as minority people. Jameel Hill is a freaking liar or an idiot or both or a lying idiot. Folks, these people hate you. They want Western civilization destroyed. How many, can you put that up again for the 15th time? They're telling you they want it destroyed. Total eradication of Western civilization, unrest and violence in America. It's their words, it's not mine. These Democrat socialists want this place destroyed and you dead. And the people accommodating it on the fake phony right that's not real, the usurpers, and the left who are afraid of these people, shame on you. Eternal shame on your disgusting, dark soul. Eternal shame. May you go to Hades on a freaking super-powered high-speed escalator, you stupid bastards. Your party is being hijacked by people who will exterminate Jews, Protestants, evangelicals, and any obstacle in their way tomorrow, and you dumb fucks are riding the speed escalator down with them. We want this Save America Act just so we can have elections that are fair, so we can hopefully have a bulwark against our own electoral demise by a bunch of people who want to cheat. Produce an ID. That's all we ask. It's not complicated. What does Dick Durbin do? Here's another facilitator. Dick Durbin, you going to speak out today against this, the eradication of Western civilization? Liberal Democrat from Illinois, lunatic? Are you going to speak out against this? No, he goes to the Senate floor, and what does he do? Speaks out against the Save America Act. What does he say? We can't pass the Save America Act. Why? Because, again, you are too freaking stupid, you dumbass voters, to go and find like a birth certificate. You don't know where your birth certificate is? No, they didn't say that. Yes, they did. You're too stupid. These people hate you. Check this out.
Instead, people will need to provide birth certificates or passports or similar documentation that denotes one's citizenship. So how many of us know where you're going to find your original birth certificate? I think it's upstairs in a box in the closet in my case, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Black Rifle 2A in the chat. Thank you, Dan, for always speaking the truth. You're welcome, brother, but I don't deserve the gratitude. It's the right thing to do. I appreciate it. Someone else in the chat said, someone's been reading the Bible. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. The next line is important. Yeah, I think they missed that one. I will repay. I believe in the second creation, and one day you're going to have to walk up in front of the eyes of God, and you're going to have to explain to him why you sat back and did nothing while the decapitators and the eradicators of Western civilization through unrest and violence knocked on your door and you didn't answer and fight back. You know, we have a stand your ground law here in Florida. Someone knocks on your door to do violence and eradicate your Western civilization home. You have options here. You have no duty to retreat. You have a duty to prepare. Well said, Geek. That was maybe one of your best ones, yeah. But you don't have to retreat. America has a political stand your ground history too. We don't retreat. Time to stand up. Evil's here. I'm going to show you again, coming up in another clip that's going to blow your mind, how these people really hate your guts. Every single thing they stand for is anti-you. Convenient, huh? Hey, it seems like the world's getting world's getting crazier by the day. Every time you check the news, there's another crisis, conflict, or catastrophe, or election for people who want to eradicate Western civilization. You can't control what happens out there, but you can prepare for it, and you should today. Make sure that no matter what happens, you have the basics covered in case one of these disasters reaches your doorstep. Perfect time for this. You know, things like having enough food to eat when the shelves are empty are important. And socialism does that really well, empties the shelves. So I'd prepare today. When it comes to my family's food security, I trust My Patriot Supply. I have forever. They've been one of my original sponsors forever. I buy a couple of their emergency preparedness kits a year. They've helped millions of Americans prepare. They have tons, 90,000 five-star reviews. Right now, you can get their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit for $100 off. No better time. Wish it weren't, but it is. My Patriot Supply almost never offers a deal like this. To get your emergency food supply, go to preparewithdan.com. This food gives you 2,000 calories a day, lasts up to 25 years, and best of all, it's $100 off for a limited time. So go to preparewithdan.com today. Do it right now. That's preparewithdan.com. That's preparewithdan.com. Thanks, My Patriot Supply. And our last sponsor today, before I get back to the show, Super Sure Insurance. Folks, you have a business out there, and you have probably a ton of insurance agents. They only get back to you at renewal time. That's not the way to do it. For some brokers, that's the finish line. They shake you, handshake the deal. They get their commission and they're done. Then you don't hear from them again. Well, that's no good. You can't run a business like that because your business runs all year round, and so do the risks and the gaps if you don't have the right insurance. That's why I'm introducing you to Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. Use Super Sure. It's the super agency built for you. Licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like the fine print facts, which translates your current policy into plain English. So you see what's covered and what's not. You see all that fine print that you don't know what's in. Well, you got to know what's in there. They also have this great tool. It's a business value calculator, so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know what actually needs protecting. So go today to supersure.com/Bongino. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. That's supersure.com/Bongino today. It's a great company. Check them out. Consult with a licensed insurance producer to discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by Super Sure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Okay. Folks, so now from Dick Durbin and others and Jameel Hill, we've learned the false version of history at the Electoral College is a tool to enforce slavery and racism, which is totally inversion of history. We've learned you're too stupid to get a birth certificate to register to vote. You'd rather risk your elections being stolen because we don't have proper ID. By the way, you need an ID to get into the Obama ID to take it, the Obama Presidential Garbage Can Center, to take advantage of the local resident discount. Here was PolitiFact yesterday. Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, said, the Obama Presidential Center is requiring photo ID to enter. PolitiFact, well, that's false. And then they go on to verify it, that you do need it if you want to take advantage of the discount. It says it right there. Well, no identification is required in Chicago. However, Illinois residents seeking discounted museum tickets must provide a photo ID proving their residency. Why would you need to provide a photo ID? Just give them the Illinois discount if they say so. Right, Justin? It is racist proving residency. Justin's correct. They've told us that. So just to be clear, you could go in to vote on your word. I'm a U.S. citizen. How do we know? I said so. That's why. But you can't get the local discount at the Obama garbage can until you've proved your residency with an ID. Thanks, PolitiFact. You just teed that one up for us, you dumb shits. Alex Min, what a moron. Notice they put false, not like even mostly false. Because they're embarrassed, because they're stupid. Obama resident, presidential garbage can. I need the discount from Illinois. Oh, I can't take your word for it. You got to produce an ID. Wait, what? I just went and voted. I need to produce an ID to vote and pick the people who are going to eradicate Western civilization. That sounds fair. Sounds fair. These people hate your guts. Folks, you got a guy running in Texas, this guy Talafrico. Why am I bringing this guy up? Because again, like I warned you with AOC, folks, These people are not a parochial local problem. They are not. They are an international global problem. These people are facilitators, accommodators, or direct action people like Chevalier. Chevalier and Mondami are direct action people. They will do whatever they can to destroy Western civilization. Their groups are proud of it. They talk about it. Then you get the Dick Durbins and the Talafricos and others who are accommodators and facilitators who will stand by and watch this stuff and accommodate it through their language. Hear this dumb shit out there running for Senate in Texas. Here he is in an interview talking about how he's limited in what he can imagine because of his whiteness. So just to be clear, you want to legislate on global affairs in the U.S. Senate, ratify international treaties, but because you're white, you have no imagination to think outside of your whiteness box? So don't run for the Senate, you stupid bastard. Here he is in his own words, receipts incoming.
I should mention, my imagination is also just limited by my own background and identity, right? My whiteness, my masculinity, all those things limit my imagination about what's possible. So I have to continually press against that to try to expand the limits of what I'm dreaming of for our community. And that's where, Dr. Robin, your book helps me do that. And podcasts like this help me do that.
Yes, Talafrico, Justin and I both agree your masculinity is limited. You are correct in that. Running as a vegan, 6 genders, God is not man or a woman or whatever, in Texas, the barbecue capital of the world. Yes, sir, your masculinity is definitely limited. We concur. He's telling you, this accommodator and facilitator to the eradication of Western civilization, he's telling you he cannot think outside of his whiteness and limited masculinity. So why would you be voting on anything? You're going to recuse yourself? You stupid. Texas in the chat. Please help us. Hat tip to Guy. Help us, Obi-Wan, Texas and Obi. You're our only hope. Please help us. If this guy takes over Texas, folks, then that tweet I told you, it is all gone. We need a political Alamo in Texas. The usurpers are at the gate. Where's Bowie in Houston? Here's another Talafrico gem. So this guy can't vote outside of his whiteness and limited masculinity. Is this guy a eunuch? Was his balls cut off or something? How is his masculinity limited? What's his T count? 150? They have HRT for that. Not hostage rescue team, hormone replacement therapy. You can inject this stuff, bro. They're deregulating. I know, Bobby Kennedy and HHS, they're deregulating testosterone. Just to fill a syringe and pop it right in the quad or whatever. You can take that stuff. Try some DHEA. Grow some hair. This show is a little... I'm in a freaking mood today, folks, because we're watching the end of Western civilization through unrest and political violence, and I'm not going to be a part of it. If this is going to be our movement, count me the fuck out. I am not letting this place burn, and I'm not going to sit back and let you do it either. Here's Talafrico. Here's a report on Fox by a real American hero, Johnny Joey Jones, who did this heroic thing like losing his legs in combat. This guy's testosterone is probably 42,000. Here's Johnny Joey Jones like, hey, man, this guy's got a checking account, Talafrico, with his mom. You think this guy's going to balance the federal budget, figure out a way to solve the Social Security problem? He can't even manage his own checking account or can't even recover his own balls from his eunuch status and doesn't even know where to eat meat in Texas. And he's going to be your senator? Help us. Obi-Wan, Texas and Obi, help us. You are our only hope. Save us from this life loser. Check this out.
Democrats and socialists, they want to run massive government budgets, but, they can't quite manage their own. They're still relying on mom and dad to pay their own bills. Well, one of them is Texas Senate candidate James Talarico. He reportedly has one checking account and he shares it with his mommy. She even covered nearly $1,500 in moving expenses a few years ago when he was 32. 32 years old. And of course, Seattle Socialist Mayor Katie Wilson, she's unashamed about it. Her parents cover her expenses and bills too.
Oh, holy Moses. What the frick is going on? Bro's 32 years old, got to check in account with mommy. She's still getting the wipies out, changing your diaper, you freaking loser. You probably need a diaper because you're vegan. You're eating a lot of fiber. You probably crap yourself. Is she cleaning you up too? Does she pay for your tofu burgers? She pay for your almond milk? How do you know, by the way, it's your mom? And you believe in like 6 genders. Has she clearly stated she's a woman? I mean, how do we even know? How do we know? Texas, please save us. Someone turn this into a commercial or something. I don't care. Please, someone say, please save us. New York has already thrown us to the wolves, at least the members of that congressional district. I told you, I was up in New York at the game the president was at. The vibe there is totally different, folks. It's a strange place now. There are a lot of good people left up there, but I'm telling you, the population of good people are under attack and it's shrinking bad. Folks, these people hate you, man. They're telling you they want to eradicate Western civilization through violence. You're too stupid to find your birth certificate. They can't think outside their whiteness and their limited eunuch masculinity because their balls got put off and put in a jar. You sunning them or something? What are you doing? Try some red light therapy down there. They hate your kids too. They hate your kids too. Come on, Dan, you're being rough today. I'm giving you their own words. Wall Street Journal. Orders from Teachers Union headquarters. No school choice for you. Randy Weingarten, who's probably the single most dangerous person in America for children's education, the head of one of the largest teachers union in the country. There is a federal program out there where you get a tax credit if you donate, I think it's $1,700, to this fund that parents can tap into to pay for school expenses. It's not a hard program to understand, folks. I donate, I get a tax credit. So I save some money on my taxes. Everybody follow, tell me in the chat, because I want to show you how evil the Democrats are. This is how much the teachers union run by Randy Weingarten. Not all the teachers, I'm not saying that, I love good teachers, but Randy Weingarten hates your kids. She supports, by the way, all of these crazy like lunatic things she comes out, these fringe things for. You donate to a kid getting a better education, you get a tax credit. Now, the only catch is the states have to opt into this federal tax credit for them to accept, the residents of the state to accept the money. The state doesn't have to do anything other than say we're in. They don't have to pay anything. They don't have to do anything. Folks, outside of 2 Democrat-led states, pretty much every Democrat leading a state in the country has said, we don't want our kids to get, basically, there are very few cases of, I'm not going to call it free money because it's coming from donors, but there's no expense to the state at all. And the Democrats are saying, no, we can't give our kids that money. We don't want it because the union said no. These people hate you, brother. They hate you. They hate you so much that they would rather your kids suffer in some shitty public school rather than take $1,700, which is a lot of money, for parents to be able to send their kids to a better school. They said no. There is no expense to them at all. Zero. All you've got to do is say, it's as close to free money as there's ever going to be. Nothing's free. It's as close to it as you're ever going to find. And they're like the kids. These people hate you, folks. You got Ro Khanna yesterday, the most dangerous man in America, or one of them right now, out there wants to investigate and potentially arrest Elon Musk for, by the way, watch yesterday's show if you missed it. Elon Musk, at great expense to himself. Elon Musk is worth, $1 trillion? He's worth a lot of money through all the successful value-added ventures he's had, from SpaceX to Tesla, all kinds of different data centers in the atmosphere. I mean, who thinks of this stuff? The answer is Elon. He goes in voluntarily, leads this government effort to clean up waste and fraud. That was the target. Justin, you think he did it for the money? You think he's like, hey, man, I need that $200,000 a year government? $200,000 a year. He probably makes that in 10 seconds. He takes on this effort. And what do they find? They find a lot of money going to NGOs overseas, non-government organizations, influencing international politics for organizations that want to destroy other civilizations too. And Elon and Doge are like, hey man, USAID, is this really aiding the United States, or is it aiding usurpers of the United States and pro-socialist, communist, Islamo fanatics and others? Here was Caroline Levitt back in 2025. She brought the receipts too, showing you all the fraud from this USAID. They now want to arrest Elon for uncovering in his group. Check this out.
Look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years. These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government.
Ladies and gentlemen, these people hate you. And wokeness. Here are the 7 Latin American elections since USAID was defunded. Notice they all went in the right direction. Right meaning right politically, and right. Now you see why the Democrats are panicked? The Democrats are panicked because they hate you. They steal upwards of 30 to 40% of your tax dollars if you're successful or making money at the state, federal, and local level. About 4 out of every $10 goes to them. They send it to groups promoting DEI plays in Ireland, groups that hate your freaking guts and want to divide you. That's how they win international elections, and that's how they win elections in the United States. Well, how does it happen here? Ladies and gentlemen, the reasons the Democrats don't want to police fraud in the United States is because they don't want to uncover fraud. The Democrats in the United States want to give out taxpayer dollars, whether in Minnesota, California, even in Florida. They want to do it so they can pay off interest groups and NGOs that'll then organize for Democrats later. The fact that a lot of these groups have significant amount of fraud and fraudsters in them matters not to them. They don't care. They hate you. They hate that you work for a living. They want your money, and they want you to shut up. Another huge arrest happened yesterday. Here's Kerry Urban on Fox yesterday talking about another massive fraud arrest. And you think the Democrats would be celebrating this? Hell no. If you know who the Democrats are, this is their way to eradicate Western civilization by getting rid of the obstacle. You're the ones who want the fraud uncovered. They don't want the fraud uncovered because it's their slush fund. Check this out.
I think that is very smart that the Trump administration is doing this time around from a political perspective, is that they are forcing the American people to know how their taxpayer money, is being robbed from them. And they are saying, look, we are taking a whole of government approach. They created a task force. They repurposed resources and an entire division at the Department of Justice. They have this new FBI most wanted fraudsters list. So I think in the months leading up to the midterms, the Trump administration is trying to basically scream from the rooftops, hey, look, this is happening and we are on it and we are taking care of it because this is your money and it's not right.
And as I showed you before, the Doomers, the Black Pillars, and others parroting the same Rashida Tlaib lines about the Antifa arrests everybody told you weren't happening. Really? To the 8 defendants who just got 450 collective years in prison, tell them it didn't happen. It's the first time it ever happened. Remember this, right? It was CBS News. That's some right-wing outlet. I thought nothing was happening. Remember after the Minneapolis videos? Oh, nothing's happening there yet. And I put up a DOJ press release about 300 arrests that had happened before the video. And what happened to the Doomers? You ever get an apology from them? No, they want Western civilization destroyed too. And they want you to lose faith in this government. That is their goal. It was Kash yesterday. Kash Patel, of course, FBI director, talking about an FTOC. You know what an FTOC is? A foreign transfer of custody. It's when we go grab people from overseas and bring them back. We have our own plane for that. We go and get them. Of course, you need the other country's cooperation. But again, the Black Pillars and Doomers will tell you, well, none of this happened with the fraudsters. Really? Tell that to these folks who we pinched overseas and brought them back to answer for the fraud. Here was yesterday's presser. Check this out.
Last week, the FBI executed 4 FTOCs on 4 separate continents in 24 hours. We did this because we had the backing of the White House and the U.S. government and the Department of Justice to go out and apprehend criminals wherever they are. One such individual related to fraud was apprehended in Turkey thanks to the relationships and partnerships between Ambassador Tom Barrack and the Turkish government. Mr. Hilmi was arrested after perpetrating a multi-billion-dollar fraud in Turkey, apprehended and transferred back to the United States of America while he faced prosecution.
Undone in the chat. I'm done, Dan. Sorry, won't listen to your potty mouth. That's fine. I don't blame you. You don't have to do that. It's a free constitutional republic. But fuck it. I'm sorry. Brian W88. I fucking love this show. That's why I'm here daily. Listen, man. Sometimes the Queens in me comes out, and I'm not really sorry about it today. Do my best, but today's not one of those days. By the way, I screwed that up. That's actually 4 FTOCs, not 2. Good job, Cash. 4 foreign transfers of custody in just the past few weeks for fraudsters overseas. But remember, the black pillars who want you to assist them in eradicating Western civilization and lose faith in the government you elected, the Trump administration, have told you none of this is happening. There have been no fraud arrests, no Antifa arrests, none of these government-funded or NGO groups that were funding them. I showed you that one last week. None of it happening. None of it happening. We're going to leave as we came in. Put that up on the screen about eradicating Western civilization. Screenshot it. Be it, love it, own it, understand it, fight it. It's knocking on your door right now. You going to answer or not? I know you're ready. I know you're ready. Evil's here, folks. Evil's not coming. It's at your door right now. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Please, please take a deep breath, Dan. I need it. Had a little mini health thing yesterday. I was a little worried. Everything's good. I promise. I do need to take a deep breath. Even a doctor told me that. It's like, brother, chill. Your cortisol levels are probably 20 times what they should be. Hey, man, seriously, though, I'm not watching this place go down. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it go down. We've been through so much. So many heroes and patriots have fed that tree of liberty, man, with their own blood. And we're going to give it up to former rapper Mamdani, the Columbia University apartheid divestment, eradicate Western civilization through violence co-founder, AOC, Claire Valdez wants voting rights for illegal aliens and taxpayer funds for transgender treatment. So they want to, basically, if you want to cut your balls off, we have to pay for it. You want to cut your nuts off, we got to pay for it. Brad Lander wants to abolish ICE and wants you to pay off your neighbor's student loan. Pay off your own student. What do I got to pay your student loan for? What, you think a coal miner in West Virginia who never went to college is busting his ass so you can heat your home? Is making probably pretty decent money, working his balls off now? Figuratively, not literally, like the transgender treatments. You think he wants to pay for your college because you went and got a degree in 15th century eunuch testicle removal? He don't want to pay for that shit. Nor should he. Pay for your own college degree. Oh, it's insensitive my ass. I paid for my own college. Nobody helped me. Nobody helped me. Pay for your own college. Evil's here, folks. Armor of God out there. I love you guys. Love you guys. I need you. The country needs you. All right, tune in to Haley. She's coming up at noon. Vince every day, 8 a.m. Don't miss Vince Colin Ace. Rumble.com/Vince. Also, download the Rumble app. Give us a follow if you wouldn't mind. You can check us out online, rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button, get a notification. It's all free. Join us every day at 10 a.m. Really appreciate it today. Heavy language alert for the show, but I think you see my heart's in the right place. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.